Hello out there in the YouTubes. Just back to do a little bit of video. Hello to all the new subscribers. I know I've gotten a couple here in the last couple of days, so welcome. You're among friends. I guess I just wanted to do. I was watching Memphis Vinyl Jim's video today. I had a chance to watch part of it this morning, and the other half like later on in the evening, right before coming home from work. Had a really good day at work. We kind of getting our schedules for um, pretty much how everything's going to roll here for the rest of the summer. So the schedule that I got is very, very choice. So I was very happy about that. So I had a good day at work. So after watching Jim's video, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna post another video today because I know normally I don't maybe do like one a week now, but I figured I'd just do a little hanging out video. So this one might be pretty long. So feel free to get yourself a beverage. I'm just gonna finish this one and then I'm gonna get on to the next one here. But just wanted to kind of address a couple of things. Well, first, Jim, come on, Jim, come on. Would you have doubted me? So this is actually from my father's records. He gave me a bunch of records, so he has his own little section. So this is one of the ones that was out of that. So you can thank him for that one. But I wanted to talk, and I mean, I know I've been, as a lot of you know, that I have kind of just a ton of stuff on my plate, and yesterday I sort of found out something really, really cool. It's nothing to do with the Folk Legacy label, but something kind of different, and I mean, it has to do with music, has to do with a local artist here from the '60s. So something else that I guess I kind of jotted down on my personal agenda. But it's been great. I've just been chatting it up with folks and just kind of like doing my own thing, which is just fantastic. End of the year kind of seemed pretty bleak, but the last couple of days have been good, and bought a lot of records for a bunch of people in the vinyl community. So a lot of mail going out. I'm gonna probably go to the post office. I think maybe Wednesday or so. So if you're watching this, your stuff is probably en route. So it was really good because yesterday was you saw some of the finds that I got. So I was at the record store and this is for this person, this is for this person. So good stuff, very good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've been kind of thinking. I've been talking with a couple of people too about perhaps this summer. We're gonna do let's do the first annual Vinyl Community Jolly Up. Where we go somewhere. So anybody that's on board for that, let's talk. Let's start getting this. I know what my kind of schedule is for the summer now, so I was kind of holding off till I kind of figured out what was going on. But a bunch of people, if you guys don't really have a summer trip planned or anything like that, let's do it. So I think as we I talked to Teddy, and he was kind of one of the things, getting the people to the certain destination is going to be the easiest thing, but finding stuff to do is probably going to be the hard part. But anybody that's interested in getting on board, let's talk. Let's get this rolling. So let's meet each other. Let's get out there and get in the crates with each other. And everybody's probably so nice on here, but show how you truly are when you're down in the crates. So I really wanted to kind of get something like that kind of moving. So anybody interested, shoot me a message. Let's talk. And I don't know, where do you guys want to go? Where do you what do we want to do? We got to do something music related. So I don't know. I'm throwing that out to you guys. But I don't know. I think it would be something pretty awesome to do. So we'll get there when we get there, I guess. But I also wanted to talk Garner. He's kind of a new member of the vinyl community. Mean Mr. Daddy 60. I know I didn't know what it was last time. You'll get the link treatment, or maybe I'll, right next to the homeless sleeves, as you can see that. That's Blake sleeves right there that have, these are not Blake sleeves. This is the aftermath of Blake sleeves right here. So definitely check his channel out. I know I show a lot of sunshine pop. 60s is my forte, and he's showing sort of the garage era. So I wanted to show some of my comps. So this video is going to have records, so it's not just going to be rambling nonsense. But I did want to kind of show some records. So I haven't quite. I've really kind of taken a little bit of a break. I mean, obviously, like with doing this stuff with like the Folk Legacy project and whatnot, I've been kind of taking a bit of a break from buying a lot of garage rocks kind of stuff. I was really, really obsessed with that, and I guess I'll tell the story again. I've told it a couple of times, but pretty much when I discovered Nuggets, that was pretty much the end of it. So, of course, this has already been pre-blaked right there. So, Nuggets, which is just an awesome compilation of kind of 60s pre-psychedelic stuff, like these bands, influenced by I always look at it, there's kind of two different types of things that happened in the early 60s. There was the bands that were influenced by the Beatles. They sort of went on, and a lot of those bands became bands that were kind of, progressive bands, I guess, but those were the ones that sort of started early, where these guys cut their chops. But there was a whole second wave when like the Rolling Stones and the Yardbirds came out, where these guys were sort of like, they didn't have to look good. They could be, mean guys and ugly looking guys and just, play songs about girls, basically. That's all those records really are. But there's just, the actual garage rock genre is just, sometimes psychedelic music, it's kind of frustrating because there's a lot of people that say this is a psychedelic album and it's just not even close. You know what I mean? And just because it's put out in that era, people think it's worth tons and tons of money, and some people eat it up. In a way, I've kind of been there, but I think really once you kind of learn really what's worth money and what's not, you kind of can weed out a lot of stuff. For me, when I really started getting into Nuggets, think about the first Nuggets. Now they've issued 3 different ones. They have Children of Nuggets, which is the third one, and Nuggets 2, which is all sort of British and sort of the the European. World Nuggets, I guess you could say. I mean, it's worldly Nuggets. There's stuff from Netherlands, like the Outsiders, Mops, which were a band from Japan, Tintern Abbey, The Move, just these, Tomorrow, all these great psychedelic groups are on the second one. And in a way, I like the second one's better than the first one. I mean, in a way, these are sort of like, when you listen to a lot of like oldies stations, you hear a lot of the music off of this. So probably about, maybe at this point, it's probably been about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years ago. Sort of my quest became to find every single record that was on the Nuggets compilation on 45, because most of those were singles. Most of the bands didn't actually put out, proper records. There's a lot of stuff that did. But I'm just going to focus on the comps today, sort of as my hanging out videos. So I guess I'll get down into it. I think after Nuggets, kind of one big thing that happened was Greg Shaw, which he was friends with Lenny Kaye, who Lenny Kaye wrote the liner notes for Nuggets. So I guess I'll show this too. Here's the 70s version of it with I think it's Stanley Mouse. The Stanley Mouse cover on it. And a lot of this, it's funny when you listen to this compared to the second one. Some of these songs are not the same ones. Like for instance, Psychotic Reaction, Count 5. It's a different version. It's a little more phased. Like it's almost like they try to make it extra, psychedelic, I guess. This is just fantastic. The inside of it is, you got stuff by the Seeds and whatnot. Love and the Remains. Got a lot of this stuff on 45. There's a nice little picture of the Blues Project right here. Get that a little bit closer there for you. Focus. Pretty much after, the first Nuggets was sort of done, And a lot of people, I think, kind of realized, you know, the cash cow that really was that music. You got to think about when this originally came out. I think it came out originally in 1972, and you know, the music that was on it was from 1965 to 1968. So you have to kind of think about now. Music really takes about 3 years, I think, before it really kind of progresses to like the next step. But in the 60s, you know, really what would happen in 1 year is kind of equivalent to what would happen even 3, maybe even 4 years now. Like it was, everything was moving so fast. And to release a compilation in like early 1970 about music that was 5 years old, um, it seems kind of silly when you really think about it. And that was sort of the one hurdle, and it just became, you know, this, you know, the songs that are on here are just sort of the, you know, the groundwork of garage rock and, you know, garage bands for that matter. But after Nuggets, pretty much, after that came out, Greg Shaw, which again was friends with Lenny Kaye, he had a label called Bomp, and he basically put out what was referred to as Pebbles, which, you know, of course you have Nuggets, Pebbles, which were sort of the, you know, not so great as the Nuggets, but you know, kind of the second ones, I guess. What I have here, this is actually a repress of what the original Pebbles, the first one was. It was actually just in a white sleeve with, you know, just a loose thing, kind of just like the bootlegs were originally. And you know, there wasn't anything written on the actual labels. This one is on clear vinyl, so it's just very no markings whatsoever. There's nothing in the dead wax, I don't believe. So, but I got this from Bomp a little while ago. I don't remember how long it was. They had, maybe, I think they repressed maybe about 200 copies of this or so. The first volume of this is, I mean, it's still kind of readily in print on CD. As well as vinyl from their website. So definitely check that out. If you kind of want to get into the garage rock, I guess kind of in an affordable way, definitely check out, it's bomprecords.com, I think is the name of the website. They have great mail order. Suji Shah is fantastic. You know, I've talked with her a few times via email, but you know, they put out a ton of Pebbles. I mean, here's another one. This is still sealed. This was another one of their limited edition colored vinyl ones that I did. I basically have all this like digitally as well as on CD. But you know, there's bands on here like the Moving Sidewalks, which was actually the band that would morph into ZZ Top. I'm trying to think anything offhand here. Little Boy Blues, Sons of Adam, The Litter. You know, just really, really great songs. And Pebbles was a lot more, whereas Nuggets were more like the hits, Pebbles was more sort of like the, kind of the, you know, the lower reaching of the charts, or even like the regional hits, or you know, no hit wonders, if you will. So really cool stuff. I'm just, you know, big fan of this. I love, you know, 99th Floor by the Moving Sidewalks. So that was one of their big, that's probably their best known hit. Kind of going back to Nuggets first, in the 80s, Rhino kind of repressed a bunch of these here. You know, Nuggets, this is volume 2, Punk, which, you know, has Love, My Little Red Books, Shadows of Night, Gloria, The Seeds, I Can't Make You Mine, Music Machine, Chocolate Watch Band, which most of these that were put out on the later comps, they have since, you know, remastered this into a box set that's a 4 CD box set. So most of these that were on the later ones have kind of found their way onto the box sets. Here's Nuggets Volume 7. This is all early San Francisco. So you got bands like We 5, you know, who did, you know, You Were On My Mind. The Beau Brummels, which did Laugh Laugh. They were on Autumn Records, which I think Grateful Dead, I believe, put out a single or two on that. The Charlatans, which were another just a huge San Francisco band that really never got outside of that, but they were, you know, big. Dan Hicks and his Hot Licks kind of came out of that band as well, I believe. Who else do we got on here? Country Joe and the Fish are on here. The Great Society, which I believe is that, which the Great Society was, or that's not the Great Society, that's the Vegetables. Great Society was the band that Grace Slick was in before joining Jefferson Airplane. So it's all pretty much like all these bands that were really popular in the 70s. If you look at some of the artists that were in these bands, a lot of these people were in bands before they got huge. You think about bands like, for instance, like even like the Doobie Brothers. Jeff Skunk Baxter was in. He was actually in Steely Dan as well, but he was in a band called Ultimate Spinach before. So you have all these bands. Bob Seger, before he was Bob Seger, the solo star. He was in the Bob Seger system. Here's Nuggets Volume 12, Punk Part 3. More stuff from the Remains, Syndicate of Sound, Little Girl, which I believe made. Most of these are on the Shape of Things to Come, Don't Look Back, Mr. Pharmacist, Journey Through Time. Actually, all this I believe is on the. All these are actually on the actual box set. So really cool. Anytime I see these, I always pick them up. They're great compilations of this music. I'll show you some more stuff. This is some great stuff put out by Norton Records. This is the Fort Worth teen scene. I believe they did 3 volumes of this. This is the 3rd volume. But just great, this is what I love, all the history behind this, private press labels. You want to know what I dream about. It's, when I'm sleeping at night, it's sort of, a lot of that, thinking about this stuff. Sundays is a great label, and they have Beat Rocket, which is sort of I guess even like a subsidiary or sort of a smaller label of Sundays, but they put out a lot of these great compilations. Flash and Crash, I know this is out of print, you can't get this anymore, but just kind of in the same vein, just all these bands. The Sonics, which, the Sonics did Psycho, which was just a huge garage rock staple. Just a big fan of this stuff. So most of these I still have sealed because I have them digitally. So it's kind of, it's like a bottle of wine, busted open. So here's another one. They did 3 of these. These were the Soma records, which was Shake It For Me. Soma Records, I believe, was a record label from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I would say probably the biggest one that they did. There was, and it's funny because I was saying it to Sam, but the Castaways actually did a song called "Liar Liar," "Liar Liar, Pants on Fire," which was on the Nuggets set. But they also did a song called "Sam," so Sam the Sham. How we always big fan of the Misses. So that was another song that they did. I believe it was actually the B-side to that, to Liar, Liar, I want to say. But really cool stuff. This is, they basically did 3 different compilations just on this label. So, if you want to find out some interesting stuff about that label, this is pretty much all the singles kind of compiled. Man's Gotta Be a Man. So, like I said, these are all sort of regional hits. A lot of these are bands from Minneapolis, one-hit wonders or no-hit wonders, like I like to call them. This was actually, I'm sorry, this was volume 1, Flash and Crash. I'm missing volume 2, but here's volume 3, which has I'm Walking Babe, which is a song by the Unusuals, just a fantastic garage psychedelic number. And also these are totally awesome. Most of these are out of print, but as I was kind of talking about how the sort of the Nuggets garage rock sort of genre just seems to be so diluted. I mean, there's just so many bands. You really begin to understand the volume of the people that were influenced by the Beatles and the Stones, and these to pick up a guitar and to play music and to start a band. I just have a ton of these. They look like they're in reverse chronological, which is the way that they probably should be when I'm filing them away. Most of them are, so I'll do what I got to do here. And those were actually, it's called Highs in the Mid-60s, which is sort of a joke. It's kind of a play on the California, it's always high in the mid-60s. and also kind of a joke on the 60s music. But what these are compilations just based on regional artists, and these also kind of were the Pebbles sort of thing. It says Pebbles present. This is volume 8, The South, which some of these bands from Nashville, Memphis, just all kind of local bands. There's stuff from South Carolina in here. I know that's North Carolina, Alabama. So like just really awesome. I mean, most of the stuff is kind of paltry. It's not, I usually, each one of them I'd say there's maybe like at least 5 standout tracks, but there's a lot of garbage on it. So don't get me wrong, it's not something that every single album is just packed with hits, because it's not. But I mean, that's sort of the beauty of it. It's kind of the the warts and all kind of approach. Volume 23, Texas Part 5. Stuff from the International Artist label. Volume 20, this is LA Part 4. Really cool stuff. Just, I've sort of scoured. Most of these I have are still sealed. I've, like I said, I kind of put them on the iPod, and it's kind of the way to kind of listen to them, because the fidelity is not, the greatest on these. I mean, they're not. Some of these are, just basically there weren't any type of master tapes. They're just needle drops from, even the one, I think the first Pebbles comp, or maybe it's the third one, I can't remember. There's a song by The Litter, I think, but it has a skip in it, and it's just, that's the way that they mastered it. So some of these are of kind of interesting quality. This one is great. It's Michigan Part 3, and it features a band called the Iguanas. And let's see, I'll give you guys a second or two to let me know if you kind of look at that and think about who exactly that person may be there. If you give up, it's that would be Iggy Pop. So this is actually the band that he was in before the Stooges and all that. So I said, like, historical documents as far as the way that I see it. So it's just, you look at how straight some of these guys look, and to think that, the guy that they were in the band with, was gonna go on to become, what he is. Here's volume 18, Colorado. There you go. Garner and Zeke. This one's for you. Just show these real quick, because I know this is getting lengthy. There's a lengthy video to hang out with me with. The Northwest, volume 16, part 3. And the bands, like the band names too, are all like trying to be way psychedelic, like the International Brick, United Travel Service. It's just stuff like that. It's just, this is just too cool. I love this. Here's volume 10, all just about Wisconsin. Volume 9, Ohio. For dead in Ohio. Ohio is what you make of it. So, considering that we are just, a few miles from the Ohio border, it is what you make of it. Let me just put it that way. There's volume 18, the Northwest volume, or I'm sorry, volume 14, the Northwest. There's a few that are just totally awesome on this one. Trying to think of which ones I play a lot here. Sir Raleigh and the Coupons. Tomorrow's going to be another day. I think that's probably my favorite track off of that one. Volume 11, Texas Part 1. I think there was probably about 30 albums that came. I think there was about 30, maybe 35 or so. This one is actually pretty well sought after, because it's actually volume 3, so one of the earliest ones to come out. Has Limey and the Yanks on it, which Limey and the Yanks, maybe that wasn't who it was. I'm not going to say anything about that, because I thought that there was, forget who that was about. Some stuff on there from Kim Fowley, just sort of like interviews that, Kim Fowley was a huge part of that Michigan Part 2, Volume 6. And I forget who's on the cover here. The Pleasure Seekers, which I believe the Pleasure Seekers, Suzi Quatro, I think that's actually who it is. Suzi Quatro was in the band, beforehand. And then last but not least, Volume 7, The Northwest. I don't have them all, but I have quite a few, so there you go. This is going to be a long one. I have a feeling I'll be up late watching this one upload, but so I just want to do a little bit of hanging out, so I hope you guys enjoyed that high-level overview of psychedelic garage band compilations. So take care and have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you later.